live with the students from the University of Georgia. Myself and Eric Osterman are on from Perficient, and yeah, I wanted just to start off by introducing myself as a talent acquisition specialist. I work with UGA, the students at UGA. To identify opportunities within our organization, a consulting organization, that we have both technology and business solutions consulting here, there in Atlanta, as well as all over the United States. My colleague on the call tonight is Eric. I will let him introduce himself, and then we'll pass it out around to those who are on this live broadcast as well.
Hi,
Eric.
thanks, Scott. My name is Eric Osterman. I'm an employment branding manager here at Perficient, and I've been with the company for about 3.5 years now, really enjoying my tenure here. I represent the talent acquisition team from a marketing standpoint and also serve as a fantasy football consultant to some of the people within the organization. So, Scott, I'll kick it back to you, and you can introduce the talented individuals that you brought with us here tonight.
Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and start off with Michael. If you wouldn't mind telling us, one, what is your major, what year, or when do you graduate, and also what interests you about consulting?
Okay, that sounds great, Scott. So my name is Michael Stolarina. I am a senior at UGA, graduating in May 2015. My major is business management, but so it's not really IT related, but for the past 2.5, almost 3 years now, I've been working in a small IT consulting company here in Athens, and we provide managed services to small to medium-sized businesses. So that IT, computers, video games, it's always been my passion growing up, and you know, working in an IT consulting role, I just feel right at home, feels very natural, and I feel very comfortable working with customers and the hardware.
Fantastic. Thank you. Lou?
Hey there, so my name is Lou. I'm a senior here at the University of Georgia, graduating in May. I'm a computer science student, so I do have that technical background. And the thing that kind of interests me the most about consulting is the customer-facing aspect of it. I actually worked as an Apple at-home advisor this past between May 2013 and 2014, which really kind of gave me a desire to just be able to talk with people, help with people, and kind of just go from there.
Scott, you're on mute, my friend.
Ha! Ha! All right, Courtney, why don't we go ahead to you? I know Emma's, we can't hear. Courtney, you're on mute as well, actually.
Okay, now can you hear me? So I'm Courtney. I am also a computer science student at the University of Georgia, and I will be graduating in May 2015. What interests me about consulting, I'm really interested in the whole entire software lifecycle, specifically on the analysis part and how you come up with the idea of creating programs and creating something that people can use and benefits them. And I like the analysis part and the consulting part by talking with people and trying to figure out what exactly they need, because what they say they need is not always what they do need. So I find that very interesting.
Thank you. Chase, how about you?
Hello, everybody. My name is Chase Amory. I'm a senior MIS major at the University of Georgia, graduating in 2015 from Charlotte, North Carolina. I like consulting because it's really, like Lou said, it's very customer-facing, and me being an MIS major, it's that good blend of technical skills and social skills. Last year, I did the industry route, working at GE, and just was not customer-facing enough for me, and so that's why. I also love to travel. Being young like us students is the perfect time to get out in the world and see different experiences. So that's why I want a job in consulting.
Thank you. I know that we were having some trouble with Ben earlier. Ben, can you hear us, and can you try your volume or your mic? Okay, we cannot hear you. So we're going to actually pass it over to Eric. Eric actually can speak on your behalf because Eric is resourceful and looked up your LinkedIn profile, and he's going to speak about you. So let's see if he does a good job.
So just give me a thumbs up if I'm on the right track, and if I'm not, just start doing this, okay? All right, so Mr. Ben Kellum is currently a student at the University of Georgia. During his tenure at the University of Georgia, he was actually a manager on duty over at Wellbridge. He has a very nice black suit with a tie, according to his LinkedIn profile picture, and seems to have a fairly clean social profile. So fantastic job to you, Ben. And I'm guessing you're a fan of the Atlanta Falcons and/or Braves. Okay, all right. And I can also give a profile for Emma too, if you'd like, Scott.
Oh, please, let's hear it.
Well, Emma Goodnow is currently a economics and international business major. Also has a little bit of a French background. She's graduating from the University of Georgia in December 2014. She's currently seeking employment in the economics or financial consulting world. She's currently an honors student and has done an internship at Steam Logistics out in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome to the call, Emma.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. I appreciate it. All right, so what I want to make sure we do before we move forward is just, if those that are listening, we do have several folks listening to our live broadcast tonight. If you do have any questions, please put them into our Q&A box. We will get to all of your questions this evening, and want to make sure that you're also being an active participant. So just as I wanted to talk to you guys all a little bit about Perficient and give you an overview of our organization. So while I am doing that, what I wanted to do is share my screen with all of you with a quick PowerPoint presentation that I have put together. So give me one moment. Let me share that screen. Let me know if you can see that, Eric. Has it come up yet?
Yeah, Scott, it's come up. Looks good.
Right. Thank you very much. All right, so guys, just a little bit about us. Perficient, actually, like I mentioned before in my opening, is that we're a leading technology and management consulting firm. We serve several Fortune 500 companies, clients around the United States. We have our vision is to be one of the leading.
Oh, hey, Scott. Scott, I don't mean to interrupt you real quick. I think we possibly have the wrong thing up. That a PowerPoint presentation was going to load. Instead, it's just a list of files.
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that.
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a great list of files, but the PowerPoint's probably going to be a little more impactful.
Hey, totally get you. Give me one moment. While I do that, if you want to start them off with some questions, that would be great too.
Okay. Terrific. Well, one of the questions that I would have for you guys, just kind of an open forum here, is you guys are going to have a lot of top-notch employers after you've worked very hard for 4 years to earn your degree here. Some of you are obviously going on to either multiple bachelor's or a master's degree as well. What are going to be some of the key differentiators about what you're looking in for a company as to why you would join company A or company B? And anybody can feel free to hop into that.
I can take that one, Eric. So for me, what I've been looking for is a place where they'll definitely invest in me, where I can become more educated technically, and also with whatever specific products or solutions the company provides. So having the ability to become more educated is really important to me, and also having the ability to move laterally within the company to fulfill different roles at different times. That is also something that is I'm considering.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael. Would anybody else care to share what some of their differentiators are?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. I think a big indicator on what company you want to go to is definitely their culture. I think that's something every potential new hiree should really look into, because you want to have a company that you can grow with and that you're happy around. Succeeding at a company, you have to be very positive. If you're not happy with where you're working, it's going to reflect in your work. So having that that culture that you're looking for is very important for when you're picking your company that you want to work for.
Definitely, that's a great point. And kind of on the topic of culture there, I know there are a lot of companies that are trying, some different things as far as to get people, like they'll have, video game systems there, they'll have ping pong tables, a lot of flex hours. What are some of the different benefits that really jump out to you guys that are going to be some things that you're looking for here? Courtney, how about you? What's some stuff that you're looking for here?
Well, I was just not along the video game system idea, but I was kind of thinking more about the opportunities to travel, because as somebody mentioned before, at this age it's an opportune time to be able to travel. So I'm interested in a place where that will give me the opportunity to be able to, go to different places within the job.
Perfect. And let me tell you, from both Scott and I's perspective, it's a lot more fun to travel before you have kids than once you have kids. Get all your traveling out now, please. Oh my goodness. Is this Emma? You are with us, is that correct?
Yes, it is. Hi.
Welcome. All right. As far as kind of what you're looking for is a couple of different differentiators about, what are going to be some of the key decision points to what you're going to be, or I guess as to why you're going to choose your next employer. What would some of those key factors be?
Well, some of the other Hangout participants have definitely touched on some of the big things I'm looking for. Definitely, first off, culture. Just, trying to find the perfect fit. You want to be around coworkers who you enjoy being around. And second is definitely continued learning and being able to be exposed to a wide variety of industries and different levels of the business while you're consulting, so that you can grow your career and really feel like the company's investing in you.
Terrific. All right. Scott, do you have that presentation ready?
I sure do. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Make sure that this is...
We'll give it another go here.
Tell me if I'm up and I'm correct.
Looks great, Scott.
Working now?
Looking good.
All right. Thank you. Yes. All right. So as I was mentioning before, guys, and if I lose you, just let me know. I'll be happy to try it again. But our vision, as I was mentioning before, is being one of the leading consulting firms. In order to do that, it's a lofty goal. In order to do that, though, we've become a very collaborative, built-out organization, which I will mention to you by this graph here. When we started in the late 90s as an organization, we actually took a very aggressive approach in the acquisition. During acquisition time, we saw a significant amount of increase, and then obviously, in order to stay healthy in our growth pattern, we needed to become more organic as well in our growth. So the combination of 50-50 split, it actually has occurred, and you can see we've seen a significant bump up from 2013 to 2014. We've had a really good year. All right, we have a very healthy stock price on NASDAQ. Our symbol is PRFT. We are as you'll also notice, there's only 1 year in which we've seen a dip and a decline, and that was from 2008 to 2009, and that was because of the economic recession. As an organization, we have 20-plus offices in the United States. A majority of them are in the East Coast or in the I should say Northeast. For the most part, we also have made a conscious effort to expand out west, and so that is something that you'll see a few offices there, but we have a number of others that we're looking to lay out in the near future. We have offices in Europe and India and in China. And as you'll see by these pictures, you'll see a number of these that different types of environments and offices that we have. They range. Oh, well, hold on one moment. There we go. We have partnerships with several different technology firms, and if you came by our booth during the career fair, you'd probably recognize some of them from the banner that we had up at our booth. But we are actually IBM partners. We do about 52% of all of our deliverables are in IBM. Microsoft, we were actually recognized as Microsoft Partner of the Year. We are Oracle, TIBCO, and EMC Premium Partners. We have been tasked with, we're given and honored several awards over the last 2 years. And this past year, we were given, like I mentioned, the Microsoft Partner of the Year. Google has recognized us in a very similar fashion, and then IBM has also recognized our organization. As a company, we have about a little more than 2,200 employees. We are recognized also as one of the top places to work. Culturally, it's really important to really bring in and make everybody feel like they belong to our company. And as a consultant, you sometimes could feel like, hey, I'm out on an island over here. But in order for us to maintain that culture that we're trying to breed, it's really important that we get everybody involved. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a slide or two after this. But you'll see here that we are recognized by several publications for our culture and the type of workplace, best workplaces to work in the United States, actually. What we're looking for, many people like to ask, what are we looking for? And this right here really highlights that right now. We're looking for this type of quality of person. The one thing I would add to this is that we're looking for problem solvers, individuals who really just thrive on trying to fix a problem. That makes a really good consultant. If you have that along with a number of these pieces right here, you're going to find that you got a pretty good consultant on your hands. Now, as Perficient is concerned, we have both internship opportunities and full-time opportunities within our organization right now. And I'm going to highlight some of the internship opportunities, just a little bit about our internships. We have an individual, Michael, actually from Indiana University, interned back in 2012 within our Microsoft practice, and he was quoted saying that he learned more in the 2 months during his internship than he had learned in his whole semester of taking classes. We do give people the trial by fire. We put them into situations where they are going to learn and be given a great opportunity to learn, and that's illustrated by Melanie's experience. Actually, she is a student from UNCC, and she was provided an opportunity to work directly with a C-level, officer within an organization, a financial services organization in Charlotte. She was handpicked by that C-level official, and he said, I want to keep her on because she did such a great job. And she actually has worked part-time for us through her final semester at UNCC and has already received a verbal offer from Perficient for when she graduates and has accepted. This is something that we find to be a great achievement for us. And here are some facts about our internships. This past summer in 2014, the Microsoft practice actually had a training program that each person who went through the internship opportunity with Microsoft has received an offer. After the end of their project, they received an offer, their summer internship, they received that. Now, another thing that was mentioned about our Microsoft team is that anybody who started in 2013 has already received a promotion. So we do promote, and we promote I want to illustrate that through Andrew right here. Andrew actually started off with an internship back in 2011, also from Indiana University. He went through our training boot camp, and he became a full-time associate upon graduating in June of 2012. He's worked on 2 major projects, and in June 2014, he got all the way from an associate to a senior business consultant. He's actually on his way to becoming a lead business consultant right now. Andrew is a rising star within our organization. People like to understand a little bit about our culture, like what type of organization are we when it comes to outside of the office or when we're working on client sites. Well, we understand that, but how do we all get together? We actually do a lot of outreach, and I want to, because we're talking about UGA and a number of you live in Atlanta, you guys will see in that far bottom right-hand corner, that's the culture. That is what people wear to work. You see shorts and sandals and polo shirts. That is common in our office. Right there, they're in a game room. We have 3 game systems in there. People are playing probably video games, and they have happy hour Thursdays. Every Thursday they have a happy hour within the office. People love going to work and going to the office. If you're on a client site, they go on the client site, they complete their project on the site, they might come back into the office just to be around the people. We do a lot of things on the weekends, or we adopt a highway, or we do men's shelters here in Charlotte. We're part of the men's shelter. We do tailgating at Atlanta Falcons games, or we'll have golf tournaments, which they just had a week or two, I think 2 weeks ago, they had a golf tournament that is just for the office to get together. It's very important for us to be able to give you a great culture and a good opportunity for you to really enjoy going to work with the people that you work with, and not feel like you're kind of left on an island when you're working with a client and on a client site sometimes. Most common question would be, what is that we're looking for? And so here I'm just highlighting 3 positions, but there's actually technically a 4th position there, which is we're going to be looking for technical consultants in Atlanta, both for our Microsoft team and as well as our local business team. We're going to be looking for business consultants for both of them. We're going to look for the internships. The technical internships will be for the Atlanta business unit, and then we're going to be looking for a business consultant intern for Charlotte office, and we're going to consider candidates from UGA for that as well. So if you have desire to go to Charlotte, and that is an opportunity for you. Do you guys have any questions about this particular slide, or not this slide, I hope, but this particular deck?
Scott, I have one.
Sure.
So you talked about the 20+ locations across the U.S. Are each of the locations, do any of them specialize in any specific area of the business, or are most of them pretty diverse? I know some companies are trying to move all of their network operations down to Alpharetta, for example.
No, that's a good question, Michael. Thanks for asking. Actually, yes. There are different offices segmented into different type of teams, and I'll use Charlotte for example, since I am in Charlotte. Right, in Charlotte, we have the management consulting practice. This is a lot of the business functionalities. So if you have in your background analytics, like I know some folks that I talk to at UGA have that in their background. Well, the best area potentially could be Charlotte for them. If they're technically driven and you guys are interested in, let's just say mobile, or you're interested in just, Java technology, well, there's an IBM practice, and that IBM practice can be sitting anywhere. It's a national practice. So, depending on what your interests are and what your background would be fitting in, it will determine where you would actually could be winding up. We have local offices and national practices that are going to be sometimes in the same city. Like in Charlotte, we have a both a local office, which does all business within the local region of Charlotte, but in addition, we have a few national practices that feed out of the Charlotte market. Sometimes it could be the Microsoft team. I have a management consulting, which is more process and change management. So the answer to your question is yes, and each city has a little different twist, especially if there's a local office in there. Anybody else have a question? Ben, I saw your question come in. Did we answer that question about the culture? Okay. I really take a long, hard look at the culture firm before I consider them a potential employer. Watching the interactions between the current employees is a great insight for my future. Well, there's there's truth. Eric and I have done this for some time, actually. We have, yeah, Eric, how many have we done of these?
Probably 20. Probably close to 20. Oh, whoops.
About that. And we work very well together, for sure. So it's interesting, you know, if you guys have an interest, let's just say you have an interest in coming to Perficient to be a business consultant, but then all of a sudden you start to really have interest starting to, you know, maybe become a technical consultant. That is actually something that people have done, and that's an avenue that can be taken. Eric, why don't you tell them your story as to how, when you came to Perficient, you know, what your role was, and then how it evolved into what you're doing now.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good example. You know, I first came to Perficient in 2011, and I was a member of the talent acquisition team. And one of the things I'm pretty skilled at is what's called Boolean searching, which is being able to take the Google search results from about 2 million to 22 that you could actually use. And so I did a lot of that for our talent acquisition team, being able to find hard-to-find candidates. And then I noticed an opportunity that we could do a lot more with our employment brand and really tell our stories and use some of the digital platforms that are out there, like Google Hangouts, to be able to get the message out. And so I pitched the opportunity to my supervisor at the time, and they actually created a position for me over on the marketing team. And my story is not unique. There are a lot of people who have ideas as far as how things can be improved, or as the market shifts, there are always new opportunities that can be created. So one of the things we like to say is your career is kind of in your hands. It's like a big thing of putty, and you can mold it into whatever you want to. And I'm kind of a living, breathing example of that, I guess you could say. So.
And just a little bit of myself, guys. I went from being a recruiter, in which I still am doing, but I'm also doing a lot more on the campus side because of my interest in really recruiting folks like you. To be honest with you, my desire and interest is really to bring in individuals and start in their careers with an organization like Perficient, because I'm so passionate about Perficient. I love working here and helping influence and our handprint into the organization, into universities like UGA is really one reason why I wanted to get into campus. Got a few other questions that came in. So this one came in: can you lay out the interview and recruiting format for the management consulting role in Charlotte? Sure. So our interviewing in Charlotte is very similar to that in Atlanta, and that what we do, we start here tonight, just giving you guys a little insight on our organization. Later at the end of this call, I will actually ask that you please respond, letting me know that you guys are interested in what we've discussed tonight, and that would lead me to the feeling of, all right, well, now we're serious about this individual. We're going to do a phone interview with this person, or we would do since it's in Charlotte, we would likely do a phone interview with each of you who would be interested in there. Then after that phone interview, we would conduct an in-person interview. That would be on campus for about our campus, I should say, at Perficient's office for about 3 to 4 hours, and that is because you'll be meeting several individuals, and we try and condense the interviewing process for both parties, and to determine whether or not you're a fit. We get all that information taken care of, and then we we would have a response for you. The full process, all in all, I'm thinking that early November we will have answers and offers out. That would likely be the process. Yeah, another question that came in. What are the long-term career development opportunities at Perficient? I just answered the last one, so I'm going to allow Eric to start answering this one.
I think a lot of it depends on what career path you're looking to go. I think if you're looking more on the business side, I think you obviously start out as kind of an associate business consultant, work your way up to business consultant, senior business consultant, and then at that point, do you move a pre-sales role? Do you move into a project manager role? Do you move into more of almost relationship with a direct vendor, say a Microsoft, a Salesforce? So once you've got the solid consulting background established, at that point, there are kind of 3 directions you can go with that. And then on the technical side, it's basically the same thing. Technical consultant, senior technical consultant. There's team lead where you're doing a little bit of mentoring as well, and then there's also kind of the opportunity to go more as far as the architect route, where you're really focused on the technology, or do you want to go more of the management route as well? And I think by that point, by about 4 or 5 years in your career, I think you'll definitely have an idea as to what route it is you really want to go. And Scott, I have a question as well. It's kind of been bothering me on the last few hangouts. I've been meaning to ask you, and I think now's the time because people are probably wondering, what is that thing behind you? Is it a guitar? Is it like a ukulele? Did you get on vacation? What is that thing?
I'm glad you actually mentioned that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the insight on this. This is a ukulele, and I have never played it. I don't even know how to play it.
I think now would be a great time to bust it out.
I will, if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta give me a second.
Yeah.
Gotta learn how to hold it first. But my wife actually purchased that in some foreign country. I don't know which country it was, and we've moved, I think, about a dozen times in our life already together, and I have had to move that. Nobody's played it, and it annoys me that it just in my office behind my head. So probably shouldn't have moved it.
So how about we close out the hangout tonight with you playing the ukulele?
I think I can do that. I have to write some lyrics down for some. That would be fun. Maybe we'll have everybody chip in.
Okay.
I told you guys we have fun here. There is no question. We like to have fun. All right. So how about this? Whoever doesn't bring a question tonight for us, Eric, we make them sing the song. I'll play, but they have to sing.
Okay.
All right. So everybody now, your pressure is on. All right, guys. So let's go back. I want to ask you guys a few other questions. One, what do you guys look for when you guys talk about organizations and areas and directions that you want to take your career? I mean, you guys are at the very beginnings of your career, I know. What is it that you guys want to see as far as the training, that gets you guys up to speed, gets you guys ready to go, to be able to see progression in your career? What interests you in that area?
I think one thing for me that I'm looking for would be some kind of training program that gives me the opportunity to get involved in a bunch of different things and be able to try out or see the process for a bunch of different things, because I've just done my degree with computer science and that's all I know, and so going into a company, I know what UGA does with computer science, but I don't know what a company does from just, you learn some as you go through the interview process, but until you get there, you don't know. So I would like something that would just give me a lot of opportunities so I can learn a lot, so I can make a more educated decision as I move forward with the company.
Okay.
Perfect. And just going off from what Courtney said, just kind of adding to it, having a team to do that with, not only fellow students, but as well as mentors, people above you, senior people that can kind of show you how to do it and be able to give you the chance to actually do it right. And also, again, that team collaboration, because again, here at UGA, a lot of the computer science classes, we do projects in groups, we learn things in groups. And then again, at Apple, while I was training, we did that in a group of about 30. So it's like a mini classroom almost. So that's something that I'd be really looking for as far as training goes.
Yeah, something that really interests me about consulting is that you really learn by doing. And so I'm definitely looking for an initial training period, but really being immersed in the projects and having to figure it out yourself, also with the help of seniors. That would be really great.
Yeah, I think initially I definitely want to be in a pretty technical role and getting a lot of hands-on experience with the products that the company offers and sells. Just so I have that technical experience, that technical knowledge that later on in my career I can effectively talk to customers and provide them with solutions that they need. So I think a lot of technical training right in the beginning is very important.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me tell you, I want to tell you guys about what we're doing. It's a new program that we started. It's actually called the Great Start Guide, and the Great Start Guide actually is a mentor that is given to you right from the day one when you started with us, and they're there every step of the way for you through your career with Perficient. These are individuals who are consultants, experienced consultants who take you under their wing, are a voice of reason when you're having a hard day, right? But also they're the ones to help guide you through what you're trying to achieve. Now, this individual is typically not your manager. Okay, this is well, it wouldn't be your manager. It would be somebody in addition to your manager that you can go to. This is, because we're all going to be needing this, and this individual doesn't just get offered to students coming out of college. This is actually offered to all new hires. So we're all giving mentors, and we're all mentoring. Eventually, you will mentor another person. If you're with us long enough, you're going to become that, and that is, it's really kind of a great opportunity for you to throw ideas out there, and if you're having a hard time figuring out how to fix a solution, well, you can bounce it off of someone else. In that project, likely you wouldn't be on the same project, so you have that opportunity to tell them what's going on in your on a project, and if you're having issues and road bumps, you can bounce it off of them. So that's what we call a Great Start Guide in our company, and we just started that program less than 6 months ago. Okay.
Well, and Scott, just to note, it has been around for a long time, but we just gave it a name. So now it's much more powerful.
Yeah.
It has an actual name to it. So now it's a Great Start Guide, which has changed everything. So
that's funny you say that, Eric, because we actually call it a mentor just here in Charlotte. We've had that for a while.
It is the Great Start Guide. If you saw today's company newsletter, it's a big deal. So also, kind of one thing to add with the Great Start program too is the people that we select for mentors are qualified as far as they're people who want to be mentors, and it's not this forced intimacy thing. It's a really organic, pretty natural thing. So it's not like, even if you don't click with this person right off the bat, there's not somebody else who's going to be there to help you. So I just wanted to add that.
Well, thanks, Eric. I appreciate your insight there. Okay, so what questions do you guys have for us? Are there any questions that we can answer for you that you may have been gotten prepared for this call tonight? What questions are there?
I was wondering about what type of travel opportunities there are with a career with Perficient.
Sure, absolutely. First, before I answer this question, do you want to travel?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll tell you, there's so many opportunities for travel. That's really the truth, to be honest with you. It's based upon you. Let me use an example. Emma, here in Charlotte, we have that local practice of business analytics, quantitative statistical analysis individuals, right? Here in Charlotte, that same exact group is part of the management consulting national practice. So that individual could either be a part of a national practice that travels, or if they just say, things may have changed and shifted in your life that you want to just not travel so much, then you have the ability to sometimes just say, I'm going to hang tight here locally. That is something that works. Another example is a director of ours that went from the IBM practice. He was not a director at the time, he was a solutions architect, moved to Charlotte, became a director, and changed business practices and became part of the local practice because he wanted to be settling down in Charlotte. He left Charlotte to move back to where he used to live, which is in Florida, and he went back to one of the national practices so that he could stay with the company and he didn't mind the travel. So you do have it, and when you do travel, you're traveling generally between Monday and Thursday. That's the travel schedule. Now, not everybody gets that. We always liked individuals who, one, are open to travel. You know, if we have a position that's based in let's say Charlotte, I'm going to use that as an example, then you know you're going to work in Charlotte, and will be the goal, is to find you roles in Charlotte. But if we can't find you a role right away in Charlotte, we're going to want to look elsewhere, and we want to have that flexibility with the individuals to say, hey, I'm open to travel a little bit. So the ideal candidate would be always open to some travel.
Great.
No problem. Anybody else? What other questions are out there?
I actually have a question more about the associate technical consultant role, and that's what's kind of the timeline from starting out until a fully fledged, I guess, associate consultant. How many projects or clients are you going to be working with right off the bat or right out of the training?
And your question, though, you're asking how many, like when you get started as an associate consultant, how many, what is your engagement like with the client?
So I'm sorry, I should have split it up into two questions. I guess the first question would be, how long are you training for? What is kind of the timeline between you training and then actually starting out?
Yeah, a great way of an illustration for that is like to say, think of a baby. A baby's taking baby steps, going to crawl before they walk before they run, and then they're off. And that's kind of the mentality that we want to have when it comes to individuals coming out of the gate. You might be that young buck ready to run, but the point is that you don't know what's around the bend, and we want to give you that opportunity to really walk you through it. Now, your training per se is going to vary and differ because of the client's needs. Okay, but when you get onboarded, you do have a period of time where we want to train you. We have, like, I would say it's anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks that we have you training, and then you're off on a project typically. But that could be accelerated or it could be elongated. It really does depend per the individual. And that, for example, a local business unit in Atlanta, we want to find people who are just interested in technology, right? And then if you're interested in, let's just say, Splunk, right? And Splunk, you're going to be a great fit for that, but I might want to also see if you're interested in C# or Microsoft languages. And we try to vary the technologies for you so that we can then find the real home for your skills, and that's where we let you just take off. But whatever the great match is, that's where we're going to try and put you in project.
I think one thing too is we try to get everybody in the game as early as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I think one thing we try to get everybody in the game as early as possible, and once you're ready to go, you're going to grow a lot more once you're actually out in the field. So I'd say average ramp-up time is probably about 30 to 60 days before you're on a project, and you can plan on being an associate technical consultant for about probably anywhere from 9 to 15 months. And once you've got a couple projects under your belt, we move you into just a standard technical consultant role.
We received a few questions that came in, so I'm going to jump into those real quick. What is the recruiting process for master's students graduating this December? Well, let me mention this. First of all, we are going to actually be recruiting. It's year-round for us, right? So in our case, if an individual is going to be graduating in December. If they're graduating in May, the same process is going to take place, and so it will probably and most likely be that early November, mid-November timeframe where an offer would be made for even a December graduate. So the same process will take place. It's just hopefully we can based upon individuals, we will make the right assessment to determine whether or not we have to increase the time or decrease the time based on that. Hopefully that answers that question. Okay.
Scott, let's go to the question by Michael Lyons. I think that's an interesting one.
Sure. What you want to read it?
Yeah, it says, what might an average work week look like after the onboarding process is completed?
Sure. That onboarding, that's great. You want to answer, or would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. I think, for the first, I'd say for the first month to 2 months, I think what it's going to be is a lot of, first off, learn the soft skills, maybe for a week or two about, how you interact with a client, some of the nuances of it, learning our internal systems. After that, we're going to take a look at a couple different projects that we'd like to get you ramped up on, assess your technical skills compared to where the technical skills need to be, make sure that technically you're ready to go. Both on the business, and for the technical consultant as well. And then once you're trained, get you out in the field, either with a local client or wherever that client might happen to be.
That's right. I have nothing to add there. That's very well put.
That's why, Scott, that's why I'm in this job.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, how do I get your job? All right. What type of... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Eric, I have a question.
Okay.
So you talked about getting your technical skills up to where they need to be for specific projects. Whenever someone's hired, do you guys have any specific certifications that you guys are looking to get your consultants certified in, or do you guys just kind of train them in house, or do you say send them off to a Microsoft boot camp or Cisco boot camp? Can you expand on that any?
That's an excellent question, and the answer is yes. As far as what we like to do is, take a look at what are the projects we have upcoming. We typically sign deals, and then within 60 to 90 days they start. So we'll take a look at, okay, we need somebody with some SharePoint expertise. We need somebody with some Pega expertise. We'll take a look at who we have on the bench, which is consultants between projects, and see if they have any additional training that they need to attend. And we obviously have a certain number of people that are estimated. We need a team lead, and then we need one senior consultant, and then we need 3 mid-range, then maybe 1 or 2 associate consultants. And those all have different levels of education, but there are a lot of certifications that we encourage people to get. It obviously just depends on whatever business unit you're hired into. Like we have our certain national business units as far as Microsoft, IBM, Salesforce.com, or Oracle, and then for our local business units, Charlotte, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, that's going to be more geared toward what those specific clients in that local area are looking for. Did that answer your question, or is there any more information I can provide for you?
That pretty much answered it. But do you guys, I guess, do you guys pay for those educational programs and take those certification tests, or is that something the employee needs to pursue on his own?
Oh no, we get that taken care of for you.
A few other questions that have come in. What type of clients can a business consultant usually expect to associate with? I'll take this one, and you can take the next one there, Eric. So what type of clients? We actually do quite a bit of business with financial services, healthcare, telecommunications, retail, manufacturing, distribution, automotive. This is just to skim the surface. We have worked with a lot of different industries, and our verticals, we even have financial services practice, which does a lot only in the financial services space. We have practices like a retail practice, that does work in there, or healthcare practice. So our focus is really going to be across several different industries. And as business consultants, wherever there's a technical need, there's always going to be a business need. And so because the technical is really serving the business and offering us a business solution, that's why the combination of the two are just so vital to each other. And we have, even on these technical projects, let's just say I'm looking for, an IBM team. Well, that IBM team is going to need to have BAs and PMs and testers, because that is they work hand in hand, and so we hire for that as well. But hopefully that answers that question. The next question I'll ask for you, Eric, is what programming languages and applications do you use a lot of?
Wow, that's great. I would say that's one that definitely depends on the specific business unit. I know Sean Wright says a lot in Charlotte and Atlanta. They're using a lot of Splunk right now, doing a lot of mobile development. I can tell you I think about 45% of our business is on the IBM side. I know we do a lot with Microsoft SharePoint and Office 365 as well. Our Salesforce practice is growing like gangbusters. So my best recommendation for that would be to go out to the website, and if there's a specific technology that you're really interested in, we have almost all of our technologies listed there, and we've got a couple case studies out on the website, and you can check out and see how we've used these different technologies.
What's great is that Salesforce was we just became platinum partner. So just to speak to what Eric just mentioned. Is there any questions on the call before we move on to the next topic?
One from me.
Sure.
In management consulting, if you were interested in a specific industry, for instance, I'm interested in regulatory compliance in healthcare, would you have an opportunity to kind of hone your competency in that industry by working on several projects?
It's a two-part answer to this question. The first part is, do you have the ability to, and I'm going to repeat your question the way I'm understanding is, do you have the ability to work in one vertical, which is in the healthcare industry, let's just say. If you're part of the healthcare practice, yes. You have the ability to work in the healthcare industry. But in the management consulting space, that is a more, you work in several different verticals and across several different industries. And as a consultant, I want to be careful how I say this, but the consultants, by its nature, are people who typically like to go from one project to another project and working from one industry to another and be more agnostic in their approach as opposed to being committed to just one industry. So it is encouraged that you be open to multiple industries versus just say, I want to just work in this one space. If that's the case, then consulting may not be the right fit.
That's actually a good answer I was looking for. I'm definitely open to a lot of diversity. Some companies that I've been looking at this semester do kind of put you into a track where type of projects you're kind of stuck to financial services or healthcare or.
And let me tell you that a lot of our competitors out there in the marketplace, Emma, have that same type of approach where they're going to attach you to one industry and that's the industry you're going to work in. Do we have that? Well, like I mentioned, we have a healthcare vertical, right? So you could be a part of that healthcare practice, and then yes. But are we hiring for that? Is that the common practice? No, it's not the common practice to have just one vertical that you're supporting. Your agnostic approach of being able to manage several different or work in several different industries would really help. Make you more marketable too, to be honest with you. Eric, I'm going to pass it on to you if there's anything else that you'd like to add there.
Yeah, I think one other thing as well is I think we find a little bit more on the management side. Sometimes things get a little bit more industry defined as far as with finance or healthcare or different things like that. There's some industry specific things that people really need to be honed in on, and we certainly have people that have expertise in that because the regulations for healthcare are going to be different than the regulations for financial services. On the technical end, we don't see that quite as much because if you're developing SharePoint for a bank, it's not that entirely different than for financial services. So it's kind of getting in with the organization a bit and really figuring out, do you want to really specify within one specific industry? Is it something that you're really passionate about? There could be that opportunity, but what we like to do is give people the opportunity to explore a couple different industries before they really have to make a decision here.
Okay. Another question that came in is, can you speak to the process by which one may get staffed on a project? Yeah, I can do that. Eric, if you like. The process in which there are several different ways of being able to be staffed onto a project. So let me just list a few of them for you. The first and most common is that we have one business and that we are currently have what we call a statement of work that lists the positions in which we are going to hire and the people that we're going to bring on. And in that case, what we do is we internally interview those individuals. Within our own organization, we determine who's going to be fitting which slots and which roles. That is the most common used in consulting right there. If we do not have that talent for those positions that they have on that statement of work internally that are available or have the technical knowledge or the skill set, then they go external, and that goes to myself to go out and find that individual to come in and actually work on the full cycle of recruiting. If we find that person, they have to interview internally to determine whether or not they're a fit. That would be within Perficient because they are a Perficient employee. Now, this is the most common part of our onboarding process to getting you on a project. If there is another way is going to be where the client has us go through them because they want to have more control of them, and so we have allowed them to interview this and select the individuals that we have already on our team and determine whether or not which person fits their need and their culture. Okay, so those two are the most common to be able to identify the project. So that hopefully does that. Eric, can you add to that, or is there anything in which I missed?
Yeah, I think one thing too is we're kind of developing internal career coaching as well. We have a gentleman out of Boston. His name's Ken Hurley, and he's done a fantastic job coming in here and working with people. When they're about maybe 3 to 6 months until the end of their project, and talking with them. And he has a couple of people that work for him as well. As far as what did you like about your last project? Are there any technologies you really want to work with? Where are you looking to take your career? And just make sure that people are happy and they're satisfied with the direction that their career is going, because we realize that experienced consultants have a lot of great options out there, and we want to make sure that we stay your best option. And so that's one of the things that we're really working on developing here is making sure you're not just shifted from one project to another and you feel like you really didn't have any input in it, but really taking a look at it from a career approach as opposed to, well, this makes sense to move from point A to point B.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a question more about products and solutions that you guys offer. I know you talked about traveling to customer sites and you're working directly with the customer to help them with a solution in their business, but do you guys offer any data center hosting and software hosting, cloud hosting for customers, or is that something that Perficient is not really getting into at the moment?
Well, for the most part, what we do, and kind of the standard answer with this questions. There are certain things that we do, and we can provide the entire solution. We may not necessarily do all the work ourselves. We have different partners that we partner with. So that's kind of the best way to put that is we come in and we create the entire solution, and whatever we don't offer, we have various partners that complement what we do, and they can help us where we may not have the resources.
Okay, yeah, great answer.
Thank you.
It was an okay answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Scott, I have dedicated my career to be slightly above average, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Oh, man. All right, so let me ask you guys another question. As it pertains to the process and where you guys are in your decision process yourselves, where have you guys been interviewing at this point, and where are you at in that process? Are you guys looking to make decisions in the next, I guess month or so? Is that the time frame that we gave you something that does work for you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
What is one? Now I'm going to switch gears here. What is one question, one specific class, or I'm interested in knowing the class. What class is it that really interests you? What was the best class that you took at UGA, and why was it the best class?
I really enjoyed International Strategic Management with Christine Shropshire. We did a really cool online strategy simulation game. We were divided up into groups and had to do competitive analysis each week and make decisions on product quality and marketing tactics and how much we were going to ship to each region of the world, stock price, all that stuff to meet investor expectations. And I thought that was some of the best hands-on experience that you can get in the classroom.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Emma. I am in that class right now, and the Globus software is just a ball to work with, and very exciting because you're working directly with your classmates, and it's a fun class.
I'm going to have to take it kind of the other direction, and being a computer science student, we don't really have opportunities like that. But one of my favorite courses here at the university was my Introduction to Computer Architecture class, just because I do love technology. I like hardware. That's the kind of things I like to work with. And again, that's complemented with Apple, the hardware troubleshooting that I had to do there. But it just gave me the opportunity to see, how does a computer work? How does the code you write affect the machine that you're doing these programs on? And so it was a really interesting class taught by a great professor. So that would be definitely my favorite.
My favorite class, well, I'm going to go with what I'm taking right now. It's human-computer interaction. And it's really interesting since, as a computer science major, we spend so many classes learning programming languages and programming and just making the project, that this human-computer interaction class, I'm learning about how people interact with the computer, obviously, for the title. And it's just interesting I'm learning things that I never would have thought of, as I've just never would have thought of some of the things I'm learning. And our professor is really like, think about the user, think about the user, think about the user, don't think about you, think about other people. And it's really challenging to not just want to be like, okay, this is how I'm going to program it, to be focused on the user, but I'm learning so much by doing it that I really like this class.
Ben, we see your response as well, so thank you.
Ben is a Java fan. He enjoys the puzzles and just the different framework of putting everything in together there.
All right.
So
I'm smiling because Eric just thought it would be funny if you sent me the Georgia fight song to sing during our exit.
Outro, yeah. Alabama stinks. Go Georgia. Let's go.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's go ahead and if you guys, do you have any more questions? Anybody have any questions? No? All right.
You want to walk them through next steps here?
Let's definitely do that. That's what I was going to talk about. So guys, as far as next steps, everybody who has participated first, thank you very much for taking the time this evening to participate in our Google Hangout. As you can see, Eric and I love to have fun. We are we're just fun-loving guys. And at Perficient, there are a lot of Eric and Scotts within the organization. We do like to get our work done, but we do like to have fun as well. And so I want to just stress that about our culture. As far as next steps and what you should expect here from tonight, like I mentioned to you earlier on this call, please send me a follow-up if you're interested in Perficient. I'm really, I stress this because without hearing from you again, I will be moving forward, making decisions on what the next steps are for each individual, and it will really help me know that there's interest on both ends. So send me, this is what you're going to have to send me. Send me a copy of your resume, whether you sent it to me several times or not, just send it again. Send me a reason why you are interested in Perficient. Okay, give me your reasoning. And also tell me, if you will, just what, well, you know what? I'll leave it at those two things. I was going to give you another topic to write down, but those two things. Just send me the resume, send me the reason why you're interested, and that will be it. And then I will be in touch with you guys to discuss the next steps, which will be either face-to-face on campus or phone interviews. It just depends on which business unit will you be getting considered for to determine which process you will be taking. Okay, national practices like to go on campus, local practices like to do it over the phone. Just a matter of preference for the leadership team. Then after that, we'll get you guys in the office if you guys do well in those 30-minute interviews. Does anyone have any questions about the process at all?
And Scott, did you tell them about the sign-on bonus?
You get to sing your fight song.
No. You get one of these snazzy little lower third things.
Oh, yes.
To join the organization. So, just saying, you won't find that at Accenture, Deloitte, guys. We're bringing the A game here.
Absolutely. And if you can see it from our angle, guys, it's all backwards. It's like looking in the mirror. It's backwards. So my name looks like what's Tux? Anyway, that's how. Anyway.
Just don't go into speech therapy, Scott. Okay?
I love it. I love it. All right. We love to have fun. So let's go ahead. Hold on a second.
And just to clarify, we enjoy having a good time with each other as individuals. We don't work hard, play hard. Because that's the most obnoxious, stupid corporate mantra we've ever heard in our entire lives.
You hear it?
Yes. Okay. So we're doing the University of Georgia fight song here before we end the broadcast, and I have glory, glory to old Georgia. Repeat that 3 times, and you spell out Georgia. Then glory, glory to old Georgia 3 times, and you spell out Georgia, and then we can end the broadcast. Everybody feel free to go off mute. So I'm not just singing by myself here. And Scott, we should have started doing this a long time ago.
A long time ago, man.
All right, so
but hold on, I'm not the only one singing this, right? Everybody's singing, so get off of mute. We're all going to sing.
Belting it out.
Guys, this is all around. Remember, this is going to be broadcast around UGA, okay? So this is for all you UGA students. Now, I see some mutes over there. Lou and Emma, get off of mute.
Sorry.
Lou.
Sorry about that.
Stage fright.
You're going to sing, okay? Everybody's got to sing. I'm not doing this otherwise.
And Scott, you got to count to 3 for us so that everybody can start at
I
the
don't
same
even
time
know
and
it,
set
so
that
you guys
awkward
are going
time.
to even though
I just put the lyrics in the chat.
All right.
Here we go. You ready?
Good.
You guys help me because I'm not going to know it. I'm going to follow you guys, but I'll play. 1, 2, 3.
Glory, glory,
Glory,
Oh, Georgia.
glory,
glory,
Georgia. Glory, glory to old Georgia. G. Hey. Glory, glory to old Georgia. Glory, glory, glory to old Georgia. G.
Go Dogs!
All right, guys. Thank you all. Take care, guys.
All right, have a good one. Thanks,
Have a
Scott.
good one.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks so much.